everybody, this is Ginger and this is Ginger's Chat Show, and it's Wednesday, May 17th, and it's right now 74 degrees, but muggy, and I don't like muggy. You're like, you're molting, but at least it's not 90 degrees, muggy. And I hope all are well. Sorry, I'm finding a little bit of dust here. Anyway, it's Hump Day, it's Wednesday, and for those that are working, it's more like you slide down the other side more than anything. Now, those that work for themselves, they have more reason to celebrate because they're working for themselves and they're not in a crowded office complex and having to deal with office politics, which I don't miss. Okay. The only politics that I somewhat create is during when you're discussing today's issues, the current issues that are going on. Hey, Dorothy! How are things in Florida? I understand Jacksonville got a new mayor. That is wonderful. That's really wonderful. I really like her. From what I, heard her talk and everything. That's really cool. Who knows, maybe a few years down the road she'll become Florida's next governor. And I'm sure if she did that, she'll put everything back the way it was. She'll leave Disney alone. Anyway, congrats to the new Florida Mayor, Donna Diggins of Jacksonville. I don't think I've been to Fort Lauderdale, but I've never been to Jacksonville. Dorothy, are you anywhere near Jacksonville? Or where are you at in relation to Florida? So anyway, I'm really happy. I wish there were more Democratic mayors there in Florida. I really do. And where Disney's located, I think the mayor there should be kicking DeSantis back to Tallahassee. Or wherever he's from. So anyway, she's the first woman mayor in the city's history. Donna Diggins is. And that is really cool. That's really nice. And she defeated a GOP opponent who was backed by business and Ron DeSantis. Well, the opponent didn't really want to associate himself with DeSantis more than anything. But he did call her to congratulate her, and he will help her in any way he can to make some changes more than anything. He was a good sport about it, and now that's a good example of sportsmanship right there. It's like whether you're in politics or whether you're in, for example, like in sports, horse showing, football sports, baseball sports, little league. Wow, what? You just eat your lunch. Did you go eat your lunch? Go eat your lunch. Go to your room and eat your lunch. Wow. Who you're listening to is, okay, you're in St. Pete. Okay. Who you're listening to is Cyrano, my other cat. He gets vocal sometimes. So you might hear him going, wow. So anyway, with her, she's going to make some changes, and root out corruption, which she said really needs to be done. So, who knows, her tenaciousness and her strong ethics and everything else, I'm sure that she will do really well. And who says a woman can't do these things? We clean house at home and everything else, we can clean house in government. Now, if I understand, DeSantis was not happy, as usual. And also, Trump backed the opponent too, but the opponent doesn't want Trump. He doesn't want DeSantis, okay? And this is from what I'm gathered. I think DeSantis and Trump are attaching to GOP candidates just because they're GOP. And I don't think they really check out their backgrounds, their characters, what they want to do. I think they're just doing it by label only, more than anything. Good thing you're on the West Coast and not the East Coast, Dorothy. Tornado, not tornado, but not tornado, but hurricane wise. I think the only time you might get hurricanes is when things come up through the Mexican or the Gulf Coast and Texas Gulf Coast area. Now, as far as other politics goes, we need to push on the federal level. Sure, the local needs taken care of, but it depends on the state, depends on the area, but we do need to push back and get rid of corruption, get rid of unethical practices that happen. And also, we need to go through our various laws and stop the contradiction, because there's some laws in some states in the federal level that are contradicting each other. And things are not clear. Well, they need to clean that up more than anything. Do some updating, cleaning up on laws that really fit today's situations and not like 150 years ago. Okay? People are, the good majority of people are smart and ethical. Okay? And they also, we need to remind Congress who they work for. Remind Congress, remind your local government, remind your state government who they work for. They work for you. They don't work for corporations. They work for you. And corporations need to be reminded how and why they came into business in the first place. And work on their ethics as well. And the biggest thing, too, on corporations, my other pet peeve, is how they treat their employees. They're forgetting their employees are the forefront. They're the guys on the floor that's dealing with the public every day. And so corporations should be saying, yes, there are times that customers not always right. The customers also got to study up on policies the company has and follow those policies. And not stop trying to be quote-unquote Karens about it. So as always, people need to study up on stuff. And if they don't like the policies, put in a suggestion to the company. Companies in general, whether it's big, small, large, love suggestions from their customers, whether it's C to B customers, customers to business, or B2B, which is business to business, and put in suggestions and say, hey, is this policy kind of fair to everybody? You know, put in a question mark like that. And that makes the CEO and who's ever running the company, corporation, really rethink their policies. They need to, learn everything. Hey, Nancy, good seeing you. Don't worry about being late. You know, there's videos that you could always watch later if you're late. That's no big deal. So you're fine, Nancy. And the other is, yeah, I don't know if you noticed this and read Reddit. Well, Reddit is also a social platform, and they specialize in worker place. And you hear a lot about HOAs. HOA stands for Homeowners Association. I've been in one years ago, and I'm like, no, I don't like HOAs. It's really none of the other neighbor's business of what you do with your property, because you bought the property, it's yours, it's not theirs. And the HOA that I was in kind of focused on farm animals, ranch animals. I had horses, and I had one neighbor that moved into our neighborhood, and he was trying to bring the city into the neighborhood. He said, horses shouldn't be allowed here, and I go, wow, you didn't really read the HOA rules very well, did you? And yes, cows and horses are allowed here. Sheep and goats are allowed here. Chickens are allowed here. It's like a little mini farm. We own 2.5 acres there, and I had a double wide on it, and I had my horses there. So it got to the point with the HOA there that the roads were okay, they were fixed, there was a regular maintenance fund with it. We did not have to pay for the water anymore because we paid $600 up front anyway for the water. So we didn't have to worry about that for that 1 year. So our water we were getting was basically free. The only thing we had to worry about paying for was electrical. And everything else, it wasn't really that bad. It's just that we didn't have internet per se out there. We used a satellite dish for internet, but that wasn't always good, and the dial-up modem didn't always work that well. That was the only drawback there. Now, if they had something like Xfinity out there, then I would have stayed. But I didn't have a car. I was starting not to have my car and everything. I'd gone through my divorce and everything else. So, but it's a nice place up there. And you have a good amount of rain here and fresh air and everything. And you were out in the country. And I kind of miss being out in the country. Okay, now, as far as the working population goes, as I said it in Reddit, there has been a worker revolt, and workers are demanding from employers to start using a little bit more respect and start listening and stop treating employees like they're slaves. They're not slaves. They work for them. But the employers need to start treating them with respect and pay them better. If you treat your employees right and you pay them really good, your company is set already. It will be profitable. It will be prosperous. But if you don't, and you treat your employees badly, there will be a high turnover rate. And that's what killed the company's high turnover. because it costs money for all the paperwork and everything else, and you lose good people. Because you never know what you find when you get an employee. Sometimes you find an employee that's very, very dedicated in what they do and they love what they do. Well, keep that employee and start building up your company that way. But that's what companies need to learn to do. They need to treat their people better. Now, Walmart still has a lot to learn, for example, with Walmart. Even though they're non-union, they should be union, they're non-union, but they still need to pay their people better. They still need to treat them better, especially the elderly that work there. Other companies like Albertsons, I'm the Pacific Northwest area here, Albertsons, Safeway, and some of the other Associated Grocers stores, they need to pay their people better and treat them better. Because not everybody's on the same schedule. There's some good majority of your population are going to school. And the reason why they're working is so they can pay for tuition and pay for school and supplies and things like that and housing. And they should pay them better for that. And they should give them credit for going to school. Because when they go to school, you're gaining knowledge and some experience, which would help the company, grow. You want employees that are very knowledgeable. You want them to have a good education. That way you don't have to train so much. The only time you train if there's like a procedure or a new setup or a new method, that's when you train them. Okay. So anyway, there is a worker revolt, and I'm glad to see that. I really am. And another good piece of good news, let me show something here. Hold on a second. I'm not going to show it to you, but I got to tell you. Where are we? Let me switch to my studio. Hold on a second. Good news on my YouTube channel. I'm up to 22 subscribers. I want to grow more. I want to really grow. And I want to go, be able to go live and everything, and also sell Ginger's Chat Show merchandise through there. I'm not there yet because I'm not up to 1,000, 2,000 subscribers yet, so I need more. So I need you guys to share and discuss. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Midas Touch. They're pretty good. On all the breakdown of all the legality of stuff that's going on. With he who shall not be named, he has dug himself such a deep hole, it's not even funny. And I don't know whether he realizes he's doing it, or he just doesn't care what happens. But he still wants to get away with the crime. Well, that's not going to happen. He's going to find himself in prison. He's stuck there for some time. He already lost one lawyer that's supposedly handling the January 6th case, the impending indictment by the D.C. District of Columbia federal level. That lawyer has resigned. He doesn't want anything more to do with it, and he's going. Apparently, Trump is telling him, well, you shouldn't lie, and this, everything else, and this lawyer is going like, no, I'm not going to endanger my career this way. So, bye. I got other clients to talk to. So, he left. He doesn't want anything more to do with the January 6th thing. He knows what Trump did was wrong. And especially on the documents, and those documents he had no business having, and Trump should be in jail for it, like now. He should be in jail. They should take the kid gloves off and say, nope, you're going in the pokey for a while until trial. Till all your trials are done, and then when you're sentenced, then you'll be going into prison. So, I hope they send, when that happens, I hope they send he who should not be named, Trump. Hope they send him to Leavenworth, or send him to Florence, Colorado, and Supermax. Because he should be taught a lesson, and not only that, but it should teach other MAGA Republicans a hard lesson. What happens when you break the law? And of course you notice, the other thing I've noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, you notice a good majority of the crimes committed are done by the GOP MAGA rats. The extreme far right mega hats, or mega hats as they call them, but I call them mega rats. That commit those crimes. Very rarely you hear a Democratic committing a crime. Maybe one or two, but not like 20, 30, 40, or 50 of them. But I do hope that the trials will come through, and I hope the trials are televised. And get everybody that's supposed to be together, they're condoning him on this. Now, the other thing we need to do is push on the ethics on the Supreme Court, and I think Mr. Roberts, the Chief Justice, should be putting his foot down and said, you know what? He should push out the one guy that was doing corruption there, and he should kick him out. Or have Congress kick him out. You know who I'm talking about, Judge Thomas. We don't need that in the Supreme Court. Ever. Because of all the previous Supreme Court justices we never had problems like this up until now. Until a whistleblower came, this is what this judge is doing. And Supreme Court should follow the same ethical rules as those in the other courts. They should not be given special privileges. Just because they're Supreme Court justices, they should follow the same rules as everybody else. And the same way with the GOP and Congress. They should follow the same laws and rules like you and me. There should be no two separate groups. It should be all the same. And the same way with during election season. They need to go after people that try to cheat, try to intimidate. I saw that firsthand years ago when I lived in Roy, a little town in Roy, in the fire commissioner's race, and the guy that was trying to cheat and trying to keep his seat, he got caught, and eventually he went to prison for it. So, okay, well, it's 1:24, and I'm going to go get myself a dish of ice cream and cool off some more. At least it's 77 degrees right now, but at least it's not super hot. So anyway, I will post this on my YouTube channel. Check it out. I would love suggestions from you. I'm trying to figure out a way to get a, not spice it up, just make it better. You know, like cards, insert cards, ending, and everything else, and advertise that way. And I'm still working my store, issues on my store too. So I know it's taking a long time. It's just a matter of having to figure everything out. So I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you on Friday at 1 o'clock. And I don't think I have anything on. Let me check my calendar. Just 1 minute. No, I'm good. This month is going by fast. Okay, I will see you guys later. And I'll see you at 1 o'clock. And be sure to check out my thing. You too, guys. Love you. Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. Just keep on doing it. Remember, they work for you. So, okay? Talk to you later. Love you. Bye-bye. You too, Nancy. You too, Dorothy.